Hey everybody, how are you? I am Dr. Annette Stevenson and I'm here tonight to show you how to make this easy, simple, stovetop, keto-friendly pizza that I kind of saw someone else make and decided to put my own spin on. So here I am making my own pizza. And I'm super excited about it. Hey Teresa, good to see you. If you have your ingredients with you, you can follow along. Basically, we're gonna use shredded mozzarella cheese. Now, typically, if you're doing a ketogenic diet, we recommend that you shred your own cheese because they put potato starch and different things in store-bought shredded cheese to make it not stick together. So that increases the carb content. And if you also want to use a tomato-based sauce, I use a tomato paste. I actually used a tomato paste that had like some garlic flavor to it. And I actually watered it down so that it's not too thick. You'll see here, I watered it down. I put some water in it and I warmed it up. Actually, this is leftover from me playing around with this last night. And my husband loves taco meat. We had some leftover taco meat. So I have some taco meat here. I'm also gonna use fresh pepperoni and some onions. So whatever your favorite toppings are, and I forgot to grab, I have some oregano, I have some garlic salt, and I have some fresh ground pepper that my husband grinds for me all the time, and we just keep it in a little dish. So I tried to set this up where you could kind of see what I was doing and be able to see me at the same time. Hopefully this works, but I'll also try to hold it up here. I know sometimes when the comments start scrolling, they can interfere with the images, and I'm not exactly sure what it looks like on your end right now. So this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take, this is about, I don't know, a cup and a half of shredded mozzarella cheese. And I'm gonna turn the stove on. I'm gonna put it on like a medium heat. And I'm using sorry about that. I'm using this green no stick pan that also can be put in the oven. It's got a handle that I can stick in the oven because I kind of like the top to get crispy too. But if you don't have the ability to do that, any non-stick pan will work. So basically all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dump this cheese in here, and then I'm just gonna spread it out so that it covers the whole bottom of the pan. And it will shrink a little, but it won't shrink a lot. So just kind of cover the bottom of the pan. Hopefully the comments are not covering that up. So I hope that works for everyone. If it is, you can turn your screen the other way. I think it might change things for you. I'm not positive. But I'm gonna use my handy dandy little mitt. This is what it looks like. The whole bottom of the pan is just covered. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let that melt for a little bit. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna add some flavor. So I'm gonna put some oregano on here because pizza isn't pizza without oregano. You could add things like fennel seed. I'm gonna put some garlic salt on here because we love garlic in this house. Garlic, garlic, garlic. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. I think it's cooking a little too fast. So I have a gas stove, so things are different on a gas stove. So got this turned down to a moderate temperature, and I'm just gonna push the cheese that sticks to the side down so that it all just stays together, not for any other reason than to make it a cleaner, rounder pizza. So we're just letting this melt basically, and once it melts and kind of all sticks together, then we can put a few things on top of it. And I tried this last night with Monterey Jack, and it was like a Colby Jack mix of cheese. And that cheese is kind of dry, but it works really good for the crust. Today I'm using mozzarella cheese because I think it melts better, and I'm hoping I get the same crusty effect on the bottom. But it was super crispy, and it sounds like it's cooking really hard, but it's not. But it will get a little brown on the bottom. So I'm just letting this really get good and melty so it all sticks together. I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh cut pepper. It already smells so good in here because I have the garlic and the oregano on the cheese already. And then because I used a already seasoned red sauce, it's just tomato paste that's like a roasted garlic flavor. And then I added water to make it thinner, and I heated it on the stove in a saucepan. And then I just kind of reheated it here a little bit ago. And I'm just gonna dab a little bit of this on here. I'm not gonna try to smear it too much because I don't wanna interrupt the cheese too terribly much, but I just want a thin coat of marinara sauce just because that's the way I like it. You don't have to do it that way. You can totally leave off the red sauce and completely leave it off. And if you wanted to, you could just throw some pepperonis down on this and cook it until the bottom is crispy and just be done, if that's the way you want to do it. Hey Stephanie, nice to see you. So because we're trying to use up this taco meat that we have, I'm gonna use this taco meat and I'm just gonna sprinkle it on here. And you know, I always keep staples around the house of things that we like. So we love like ground beef. So we'll always keep like some ground meat around the house to use on different things. Sometimes we'll make like tacos with it or different things. But we just keep it around the house. And I don't know, I guess you can see that from there. Let me see just in case. I'm gonna hold this up here. So you can see it's cheese, and then it's got a little bit of red sauce, and it's got the hamburger on top. I have to be careful so it doesn't slide out of the pan. And then it's getting kind of brown on the bottom already. I'm trying to heat down a little bit so that I don't burn it while I'm playing around with all this other stuff. So I've got that. I'm gonna add a few onions because that's the way we like our pizza. You can do any toppings you like. You just want to be careful not to make it too thick until you've played with it a few times so you know what's going to happen. If you make it too thick, it tends to not melt properly, so it can cause you some issues there. So just, you know, some onions, whatever looks good to you. And then I'm going to throw a few pepperoni down under the cheese. And then I'm going to I actually bought something I don't normally buy, but this is pre-shredded, but it's mozzarella cheese that has a little bit of Philadelphia cream cheese in it because I like the way that one melts. And I thought something on top should be a little easier to melt because of it not necessarily going in the oven. Although I do have the oven on just in case I decide I need to melt the top a little better, because my experience yesterday showed me that you may like to have the ability to melt the top. So I'm using a skillet that'll go in the oven if needed, and then you can throw it in under the like the broil option, or just put it at like 350 and let it cook for a minute or so. So this is nice and brown underneath and it's pretty warm. But because I have pepperoni on here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and stick it in the preheated oven for a few minutes, just so that I can get those pepperonis. I like them crispy on top. So I'm probably gonna wish I had turned on the broiler. As a matter of fact, I think I will turn the broiler on, just so that it does that. So while we're waiting for that for a couple of minutes, again, if you're new, we're just making a new way to make pizza, right, Stacy? Gotta find a way to make pizza. I cannot live without pizza. And since I don't eat any grains at all, and I'm doing a ketogenic, like a modified ketogenic diet, I'm always looking for ways to get higher fat, low carb foods into my diet. And all of the things that I love, I still am able to eat with a few modifications. So I've got onions, pepperoni, some ground beef, which actually has some taco seasoning on it. We actually even have a tomato that we're gonna cut up and throw on top cold, and we might even throw some spinach or lettuce on top just to get some vegetables in there as well. But I used just straight up mozzarella cheese. It's best if you grind it yourself. And about a cup or a cup and a half. You just want to fill the bottom of the saucepan, or the skillet, I mean. So if you're using a different size skillet than mine, you may need to use more. Oh, that looks so good. It's heating up nicely in there. So basically, I just made a pizza, but instead of using a crust, I used mozzarella cheese on the bottom, and then I cooked it on the stovetop and until it got nice and brown. And then what I'll do after I've got the top of it cooked a little bit, because I want my pepperonis to be more crispy, then I'll take it back out and throw it on top of the stove until the crust actually gets a little crispy. And then what you'll want to do is let it cool for a few minutes before you cut it and try to eat it. And as that cheese cools, the crust will get crispy. So that's the trick. That's the insider trick that nobody knows. So that is looking really good. So turn this oven off. I'm going to give that a couple more seconds. So if you need the ingredients, I'll type them up and put them in the notes, the comments here. And I'll also post this on my website. I'll put a link on there so you can see it there. But just get creative and use whatever pizza toppings you like. But like I said, remember, you don't want to make it too thick. You're better to do thin. So this is more like a thin crust pizza. And you could do any toppings you like. You just have to get them all ready, because the cheese doesn't take terribly long to cook, and you don't want it to burn while you're trying to prepare your ingredients. So make sure, see, here it is. I don't know if you can see that. It's all melty. I can't tip it too far because it'll slide right out of the pan. So there it is. And I'm just going to pop this back on and make sure that the bottom is nice and crispy. And that's ready to eat. So I'm going to slide it out right onto a cutting board and let it cool for a few minutes. And once it's a little bit cooled, the crust will be kind of crunchy on the bottom. And then I'll slice it with a regular pizza cutter, and we'll eat it the same way we eat every other kind of pizza. So if you have any questions, just comment below. If you want to know when I'm going live with tips and tricks, please click on the thing that says be notified when Annette goes live, and you'll be sure to be notified. If you'd like to join my keto group for more recipes, tips and tricks, and meal plans, things like that, type the word group below, and I'll be sure and give you the information on how to get into that group. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy your evening. Please come back for more recipes as we learn ourselves, because we're still figuring this thing out. We're trying to learn, and I'm trying to educate my friends and family as I learn too. So thanks for watching. Have a great night.